What's going on, boys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the return of regular training videos. The next of the Road 2s is here. I've talked and teased the Road to 800 squat, and don't worry, I'm going to do it. I'm not afraid of squatting, I pinky promise. But I thought it might be a fun little one to do in the meantime to do Road to a 500 split jerk. I'm gonna have to do that from the back rack. I'm able to get into a front rack with some mobility, but it really beats the shit out of my wrists, and I'd rather not do that. And you guys have heard me yap loads on the channel about setting diverse goals within your training. Even if a goal doesn't directly correlate with what it is that you're trying to do as the big picture, it's often really, really worthwhile because it'll improve your understanding of the holistic training process. It'll make you a better athlete in the meantime. And also, what's up? If you're new here, my name's Sam. I'm a guy. I'm a strength training enthusiast. I do stuff in my garage. I set little goals for myself and I try to do them. That's what we do here. But I had this idea of call it the full pressing gambit, because I've got the 600 bench, I've got the 405 overhead press. I was thinking if I also include a 500 split jerk and then also include a body weight plus, what is it? It's 315, so 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 plate dip. I think no one has done that. There have been people out there of the pedigree that they could have got it done, but by novelty, I kind of want to do it just to say, oh, one guy has done that. I'm cheating by including the weighted dip just to kick out Lucas Hatton so he can't just cuck me at everything like he always does. So I figured this would be a fun one, but the Road to 800 squat will also happen. I'm excited to get after it, though, become a little bit more dynamic as an overhead athlete. Give it a real go. I'm excited. Welcome to the journey.
The crime you two planned was indeed perfect.
Hey.
The victim is alive and the murderer is unknown.
Hey.
It's a pity you didn't know when you started your game of murder.
That was easy.
All right. Well, now that that's done, let's start our road to an 800 squat. Am I right, boys? Also, I'll get working on that dip so I can have the full pressing gambit complete. Hell yeah. All right, full disclosure, unlike the 500 for 20 squat, I didn't no prep that. I've been sneakily training for this in the background for a good 2 months and a little change. Just working on that split jerk, becoming a more dynamic overhead athlete. Maybe in a future video we could talk about how I set those up, because the jerk is pretty unlike a lot of the lifts you've seen me train here, where I use pretty strict percentage-based work. The jerk is a lot more technical, and so a lot of the time we come into sessions with more technical qualities, and then we just fill up the weight as much as we can within the description of that technique. So the programming looks a little bit different. It's a little bit more fun, a little bit more cool than my really blocky, standard percentage-based stuff I do for the more static strength lift. So maybe in a future video we'll talk about that. I'm gonna go do some accessories. should have panned to that.
I was going to. Sam was just saying wah, wah. Sam was just saying something interesting about face pulls, and I thought we should record it.
I was saying that I think there's a time and a place for like heavy face pulls where we set up in a really stable thing, like we set up on a low row machine, or we do them leaning back on the lat pull down, or we do them with a chest support, and we pull more straight to that collarbone, and you do these real like heavy move weight kind of sets where you take the set into the weeds, into a lot of range of motion loss, almost as like a bigger move weight kind of exercise. But when I'm doing the face pulls right now, I'm doing them really specifically for kind of overhead stability, kind of challenging my external rotation, mostly for like overhead stability and shoulder function, if we want to call it that. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reach my scaps as far forward into protraction as possible, full retract, fully into protract, and we pull high, so we're challenging external rotation. If we pull towards the collar, we don't really challenge that external rotation part, so we're pulling high and trying to have this really, really exaggerated front to back movement with our scaps. And as soon as that range of motion starts to shrink down, then the set is done. But anytime you have an exercise where failing is easy, it's easy to hit mechanical or it's easy to hit muscular failure because you've got really like specific technique guidelines. And the second you're out of that, the set is done. That's when I start doing either more sets or I start adding like intensifiers to make it a little bit more difficult, because that set was almost artificially ended by the fact that the setup of the exercise doesn't really let you grind hard rep after hard rep. So you kind of need to build difficulty elsewhere. So I did 3 sets on the face pulls, and on the final set, I just did a little rest pause where I went till that kind of that window started to close. I took 10 breaths, and then I went again in that full range until that window of ROM started to shrink down a little bit, took 10 breaths and did 1 more round. So that's kind of where I'll sneak in like an intensifier, or we'll do a higher set count, is when that's kind of that finicky exercises that kind of, you lose the feel, the set's done. So failing was kind of easy. That's what I was saying.